All right, welcome everyone to Sports Talk with Ed. I'm, of course, Ed here in Long Beach, California, and I'm honored to have today's special guest host, my homeboy I've known from high school days, Alvaro Davila. He is currently out in Houston, Texas right now, joining us on the line here. Alvaro, what's up, man?
What's up, brother?
Hey, man, I know we haven't seen each other in many years, but how's Texas life out there, man?
Texas is good, bro. Just the weather it's kind of iffy. We get hot weather in the summer, and then in the fall, you got that little tropical storm every now and then. But other than that, it's great, man.
Hey, so what's one of the toughest things about living out there in Texas? Because I know there's Houston, Texas, Dallas Cowboys, Houston Astros, Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks. Like, hard is it to go for a California team when you're living out there in Texas?
It's competition, man. Yeah, it's competition, brother. I got a lot of Cowboy fans down here, a lot of Texan fans, and every time I mention that I'm a Raider fan, they talk smack. Oh, what are you doing here? But they're just joking around, babe. There's always that competition going around.
Well, how come you don't go up there and say, hey, you know what? Didn't you get your asses raped by the Niners? Didn't they give you guys the San Francisco ass kicking?
Oh yeah, I be talking smack, so I'm not gonna hold my tongue, man. I be talking smack to them fools, man.
I bet you they shut up, huh?
Oh yeah, they shut up. They laugh about it, walk away.
That is awesome. But hey, man, it's good to have you on board here. So I know it's been a while since we up on the board. I do want to thank Long Beach City College for allowing us to use the radio station a couple of weeks ago. We're currently at home right here in my house. We'll be back in the studio there at some point. But I want to talk about some top stories, so let's get right at it. And we're going to start off with Sunday Night Football. Last night, the Raiders pulled off held on to a last-second win.
I knew you were gonna say that, man.
Hey, man, I was watching that game. I thought the Jets were going to win. I think they got robbed of that one touchdown by Zach Wilson. But, I mean, it's just how the Raiders are. The Raiders are now 2-0 since they fired McDaniels. And one thing I got to ask you, what was your first thought when it came out that Josh McDaniels was getting fired?
I was happy, man.
I
was happy, and I went down on my knees and said, thank you, God. You know what I'm saying? And that was it after that, man. It was about to happen anyway.
Well, look, they were a 4-4 or 4-5 ball club.
Yeah.
3-5 ball club. Actually, 2-5. What do you think went wrong with him? Everybody kept saying that he's a mastermind of the offense because he had Tom Brady in New England, but his history as a coach hasn't been very, very verified well. He became the coach of the Broncos in 2009. He was fired in the middle of the 2010 season with Tim Tebow. He went on to be the St. Louis Rams coordinator the following year in 2011, and then a couple years ago he was going to be the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, but he decided to hold back and go back to be with Bill Belichick in New England. Does it really show, bro, that what do you think? Is Josh McDaniels' career coaching is over, or is he just known for a coordinator? I mean, what do you think?
He's known for a coordinator. I'm pretty sure he'll be back in New England, man. He'll have his job back over there.
You think he'll go back to New England knowing that,
Yeah.
Well, speaking
I
of...
think so, bro.
Hey, so what do you think about this one, though? New England, they're 2-8. Their worst start since 2000.
Man, that's terrible, brother.
Yes, started since 2000. That was a bad start, and that was before the Brady era began. I mean, what do you think? What you think a reunion with Josh McDaniels would help quarterback Matt Jones with how he's progressed this season?
Probably, yeah. It could, potentially could happen,
But
I feel bad for Belichick, man.
I want to go back to the Raiders, though, about last night. So, A. O'Connell, he took over for Jimmy Garoppolo. Everybody figured that he was going to turn the franchise around after a successful run with San Francisco, but it didn't work out with him. He was benched by new coach Antonio Pierce, who's actually a former football player. I mean, what do you think? You think they wasted money on Garoppolo, or was it something different? Because here's one thing. When McDaniels got fired, Devontae Adams came out and gave out his frustrations because he said the reason he came to Vegas was because he wanted to be with Derek Carr. Well, now Derek Carr got shipped out to New Orleans and he had Jimmy G. It didn't work that well in the beginning, but how do you see his maturity now that he's got a new quarterback and he's got a coach that knows how to play football?
Well, it starts with, let's see, how can I say this, man? How can I put this in perspective? Like Coach AP say, he comes in, has himself as a coach with a new attitude, new energy, and maybe that's what maybe made Devontae Adams, switch his whole persona around, if that makes sense.
Do you ever figure that they would give him a cup of shut the hell up, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Someone just grab him and be like, hey, just shut the hell up and play, bro.
yeah. That too, yeah.
I mean, he did back up a little bit yesterday. I mean, last night he had an okay game. He had 6 naps for 86 yards. He was a leading receiver for the Raiders. But
That's right.
yeah, right. Hey, wait a minute. Weren't you a Bronco fan?
I was never no Bronco fan.
Ah,
I was Raider Nation, man.
get the hell out of here. Didn't you wear a Broncos jersey when we were in high school? You had like a Bubby Brister jersey. I was like, what the hell's up with that one, man?
And it was a number 6, right?
Yeah, that was number 6.
That's right. And you know what? In high school, it was the jersey era. You know that, right? Everybody wore different kind of jerseys, but I was never a Bronco. I do like the colors, though. I did like the colors.
You were a fan of the Orange Clan Broncos, like with the B-men and logo on the sides before they changed into like the horses one?
Nah. It was always the horse.
Or more like the horse's ass?
It was always the old, the 2000s jersey. That one was dope.
Hey, speaking of horse's ass and the Broncos, they're actually gonna play tonight. I just realized they're gonna play the Buffalo Bills.
The Bills gonna tear that ass up, man.
Didn't they get their ass tear up already by a Miami team? Wasn't it like 70 to something?
Oh yeah, that's right. I seen that game. It was crazy.
I don't remember seeing an ass kicking like that in a long time.
Me neither, brother.
Or remember in high school, we our school used to deliver a lot of ass kickings,
Yeah.
I forget what team was it that we played that we just dominated so much. I think it was like Compton or something like that.
It might be Compton because probably you guys sucked at that, man.
Nah, we were just outplayed, we got our coach and outplayed. But, for those of you that don't remember the Dolphins game, let me show you a little bit of a brief history.
Down 14. Quick to Mostert. And a block by Wynn, and downfield it goes. Caught by Hill. Oso is in the backfield, 3rd and 7 against the call. There's a nice block from Hill. Oh, look at the move! Dazzling display. Touchdown, Miami.
That was the 20-7 beating that the Broncos took back on September 24th of this year. And, Alvaro, let me ask you, you think the Broncos did the right thing by picking up Russell Wilson? Because he doesn't look like he's happy there.
Nah, that dude's gone by next season. Well, yeah, this season coming up, he's out there.
Well, let me ask you this. If he does go, what team you think he'll end up being with? Because I'm sure there's going to be quarterback scenarios. Let's go back to the Jets before we answer that question. They picked up Aaron Rodgers. Everyone thought this was going to be a Super Bowl team. 4 plays in, his season's over. And look at the Jets. Look, I gotta give the Jets credit because they're actually in contention. They're just like maybe a game and a half in the loss column out of the AFC playoff picture going into tonight. All eyes are gonna be on Buffalo because Buffalo is technically outside looking in because not only that Buffalo's not out of the picture, half of the wild card standings, 3 of the 4 teams that are in that spot are from the damn AFC North, dude.
Right.
You look at, what did you think about Houston and the Cincy game last night? Like, everyone said Joe Burrow was on a hot streak, that he got his groove back, but, he looked flat yesterday.
Yeah, he was aggressive, and then, all of a sudden, I don't know what the hell happened, but the Texans came in there, and they dominated, man. I gotta give my ass to the Texans, man.
Who would have thought that they'd be this dominating? Everyone figured it was going to be a rebuilding year for maybe 5 or 6 years, and then they were going to get better, but, holy shit, they even beat good teams too, and it's just like you wonder if Houston's gonna be one of those teams that are gonna be ahead come playoff time. Can they beat teams like Kansas City and Miami?
I don't know about Kansas City, man, because Mahomes and them boys, man, that team is real tough, man, to beat.
They could be deep, but did you get a chance to see like last week how they put up 21 on Miami, but I give Miami defense credit because they got shut out in the second half. Miami almost could have won it, but they just couldn't do anything.
Right.
So I don't really think Kansas City is that much of a deep threat.
Nah, yeah, you're right.
Remember back in high school that one of the best teams was the Patriots. Everybody was like a Patriot fan back then because they were winning.
That's right. Yes, I remember, man.
Yeah, you came out. You were coming out of that sorry class of 04, was it?
Okay, so we're talking about 04 and 03, 02, 01, or after 04?
Any before then. I mean, look, I remember freshman year, the Patriots dynasty was started. That 1 year Tampa Bay won, and then it was just Patriots after that. And then when I graduated, it was all Steelers and stuff.
Okay, so I kind of seen that, but I saw a lot in my high school years, and you were there, Eddie, from 2000 to 2004, a lot of Rams jerseys, man.
Well, I mean, I remember the Rams and then the Raiders because the Raiders were coming up, you know. Everybody remember the old school gang of the Raiders, you know, Rich Gannon, Charlie Garner, Tim Brown, Jerry Rice, Harry Porter, Charles Woodson. I remember when we were in high school, and this is a true story, that I think by the 10th grade, I think the district had banned people wearing Raider gear to school because they thought it was gang affiliate. I'm like, where the fuck does a gang affiliation comes with a guy with an eye patch and a sword in his head? If that's the case, then might as well, you know, redevelop Street Fighter and give Sagat his fucking eye back, and you know he doesn't have to wear the eye patch.
Right.
Maybe he doesn't have to say Tiger. You know, he can just say
Tiger uppercut.
or you can say Hype or something like that.
Tiger, I think it says Tiger, something like that.
I just never understood why the district did that. They're like, oh, you know, we got a
ban. Yeah. I remember that.
You know, back then it was. I just didn't understood it, to be honest.
Yeah, but in my eyes, I saw a lot of people wearing a lot of Rams jerseys, man.
Yeah, it was the beginning of it was the greatest show on turf at the time, but then by senior year, wait a minute, I think somebody wants to say something. I think Sagat found out we were on live, you know, and then he just wanted to say his things. Wait, what was that? What did you say?
Uppercut. Yeah, he said it all right.
Well, no disrespect to Sagat and his eye patch. That guy's really tall. I don't think I want to get on the fight with him, but I'm just saying, I don't know why the school made us get rid of that, and I thought it was stupid, to be honest, but I mean, you know, we went in high school for a couple of years. Like, do you remember, like, the old days, you know? Any memories that you liked, you missed, wish didn't happen?
There's a lot of memories there. A lot of memories with, you know, the culture itself, the style, the urban style, you know, the gear style, the baggy clothes, you know, everyone wearing big-ass tees, big-ass jerseys around that time.
Baggy shit stuff.
Baggy shit, that's right, yeah. People ditching class, you know. It was fun, man. And then the ride that we had, I think, 2002?
You know what I remember? I remember that day. It felt like a January 6th insurrection or something like that. I don't know. I don't mean to be funny about that, but I remember that riot year. I think I recall it being the requirements for graduation. Remember when we were in high school, we were the first class that we had to pass the CASHE. And for those of you that didn't know what CASHE means, it stands for California High School Exit Exam. So there was a test you had to take out of math and English, and you had to pass that test in order to qualify for graduation. If you failed it, you weren't able to. You can't graduate. No, you can't. So when word broke out about that, people got pissed. I mean, I remember trash cans were being lit, and I think fights were being broken.
Fights were being going around.
Yeah, and then what was it? People were jumping the fence out of the back of the 400 building to like leave.
Yeah.
You know, somebody told me, and I don't know if this was true. Somebody said one of the staff members had a camera, and they were like taping the whole damn thing. And then, because I remember, I got called into the office out of an unrelated reason. It was something different. It was from a counselor. And then when I went into the little hallway you walked through in the office, there was a bunch of students there, and they were outside disciplinary area. Remember they had a deputy sheriff office too.
Oh, yeah.
So they were all out there, you know, big ass line. And I was just like, man, what the hell are they all doing? That must have been from the riot. You know, the funny thing too is word got out to the parents about the riots. Kids were getting pulled out of school. I remember I was on my way to, I think it was 5th period because it was lunch. And I remember I got stopped by one of the staff members, and they asked for my ID, and I gave it to them. They're like, come with me. And I was like, what did I do? You know, and then next thing you know, I walk in, my sister's in the office, and my dad was there. I was like, holy shit, like, what happened? And a lot of the kids in my 5th period class thought I was involved in the riots. You know, thought I did something, or I caused it, or started, because they were looking at because you know, when you leave school, you have to go out the front gate, and then you have to take that long ass walk to your car.
Yeah.
So my sister drove.
Yeah.
So we had to walk all the way to Harvey Street, and it was a long walk, and everyone from my fifth grade class was just watching me, and I was like, I'm not being arrested, first of all, you dumbasses, I'm not in handcuffs, there's no badges around me, so I was like, I was just going home, my parents thought it wasn't safe, and I remember I saw a glimpse of the quad area, it was still cleaning up, it took a whole day to clean up the whole quad area. Weren't you part of it, or?
Hell no, man. I was not part of it. I was just enjoying it. I was, pretending I had popcorn with me, and I was looking at all these dudes, lining up the trash cans on fire and all that.
So you thought it was like some sort of a 3D movie?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wasn't anybody got caught though? I mean, I know it's been a long time, but you remember anyone getting caught?
Nah, man, because everybody was just running around, and I know the staff members were in their buggies. I know you remember Big Chris.
Big Chris? I heard he died though. Is that true?
Big Chris died?
I heard someone say that. I remember I saw a tribute saying, Big Chris died, R.I.P. He was an ass at times, but he was my favorite staff member because even if you were a pain in the ass, he was still lenient and gentle with you.
Yeah, he was cool. He was one of the coolest staff members right there. And I think that was just him.
He was the only one. Everyone else was pretty much of a jackass.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just being like plain simple. I mean, I don't know. I've been to the school a few times since I graduated, but I think the last time I stepped in campus was I want to say around 2009 or 2010. Because actually, no, it was around 2012, 2013. That was the last time I went to Lakewood. I haven't stepped foot in that class after that. I had a favorite teacher who was like technically a good friend of mine. She teaches at Poly now, but she taught at Lakewood. I was in her class for 2 years, and she went to Poly, so she's teaching at Poly because her daughter is a student there, and she said she'll check out a Poly once her daughter graduates. So I was like, oh, Poly ghetto?
Right.
And you know what's funny? Like, they always say it was either Poly or Wilson that was the ghettoest schools.
I don't know about Wilson. I always thought Wilson was one of those little wannabe high-class Harvard type of, school, but...
Actually, you know what it is? I think it was last year I did a project at Long Beach City for the radio television program. It was career day, so I had to go and do like interviews with a lot of students. And by the way, if you guys want to watch that, just go on to LBCC Productions YouTube page, and you can just look for Career Day at Wilson. It felt like going into a time warp because it felt weird being back at high school after 15 years, And if you remember those, I remember we used to remember our summertime together.
I remember.
Not that type of together, because I know some of you are saying the other thing. No, not that type of togetherness.
Nah, not that type.
Nah, so don't even come up with that, But no.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I had to quit football because of my medical condition, and I remember the whole summer we wrapped up, like muscles and all that.
It might have been 2002.
Actually, it was between 02 to 04. For 2 years we were repping up. We started going to Gold's Gym in the summertime.
That's right, yes.
I still remember that damn prank you were telling me, hey fool, come to Gold's Gym, man. They got Street Fighter arcades and all that stuff. So when I go in there and I take the tour there, I was like, where's the arcades? And he's like, nah, he just tricked you to join. I was like, this fool. I was like, that's the last time I listened to this bot though, man.
Hey, it would have been tight though. They would have had some of that, right?
No, because everybody would be playing games and the workout room would be empty.
They would be working out, right?
And I just realized, I went back when they reopened the States. So I joined Gold's Gym again for a year, and it felt weird being back there.
Right.
But the funny thing was, everything was the same.
Everything was still the same?
I mean, the upstairs, the cardio, everything was the same. The check-in was everything the same. They just got rid of the tables because people used to sit there and kill time. So that was the one thing that was missing. But I remember the workout room, the weight room. Dude, some of that equipment that they had was from when we were there. Like 20 years old and stuff,
Oh, damn.
Alright, and we are back here on Sports Talk with Alvaro, Davila, our guest host out in Houston, Texas. Alvaro, it's fun talking to you again after all these years. I did want to ask you more about baseball because you live in the Texas area. What was your reaction to this year's World Series?
Boring.
I'm surprised you live in Houston, Texas, and you thought the World Series was boring.
Yes.
So what? You go to a bar and they ask you, "Hey, what team you rooting for?" Like, I don't give a damn. Baseball's boring. Yeah, you better go in. You better go in there and hope they don't chase your ass out of the bar.
Yeah.
And say, "Get that way."
Well, my Yankees didn't make it, so I mean.
Yankees. So hey, who said that?
Yeah, I'm a Yankee fan, man. For all the listeners out there, I'm a Yankee fan.
Did you just join the Yankee clan, or?
No, man, I'm a Yankee fan, brother.
You know, I was very surprised this season. Texas got a lot of attention because of the ALCS. It was an all Texas series, so you were either a Texas fan or a Houston fan. But look, the Yankees. What was your feelings to find out that the Yankees missed the playoffs?
Pissed off. I feel that the Yankees, they put a lot on this guy, Aaron Judge, which I respect him as a player, you know, but I don't know, maybe it all comes with management. And I think, I'm not to say, man, Brian Cashman has to go. But he's not going to go. He's still gonna destroy that franchise, dude.
Well, there was a story developing today in the news from ESPN. They reported that the hitting coach, James Rawson, is actually going to return for the 2024 season. What do you think is the one thing that's missing, bro? Like, what do you think? Is it the hitting? Is it pitching? Do you think the pitching needs to do more work?
Yeah, the pitching. That's what I think is the pitching, man.
What do you think? What about the offense? What do you think? You think they're paying a lot of money for this offense, this payroll?
On the Yankees?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so, man.
You know, Rawson's coming from the Detroit Lions, who they've had a okay up and down year. But what do you think? You think adding big superstars to this roster is really what done this organization? I mean, you go back to the old years, bro, in our high school years when A-Rod was a Yankee, Jason Giambi was a Yankee, Derek Jeter was there. That's the OG. That's the OG. You know, I wouldn't mess with that football. I mean, what do you think? You know what I always remember? The 04, I think it was the 03-04 ALCS. With A-Rod, you know, his reaction after getting hit by a pitch, you know, and the reaction he gave to, I think it was Pedro Martinez, or I don't know. And I think I remember Joe Buck was like, you know, he read his lips. He's like, I'm not gonna read what he said. I'm not gonna sympathize on what he said.
I know you want to laugh on that, man.
Well, it's funny, bro. Like, I mean, hey, aren't you gonna laugh if you got like a 90 mile per hour pitch coming at you? And I mean, what are you gonna say? Are you gonna say, hey, I love you? Nah, you're gonna say, you know, you're gonna say fuck you, right?
Right, but hey, you're hitting the guy that I look up to. I mean, as a Yankee fan.
Oh, you mean the cheating lion ass?
Here we go with that.
Hey, it's not about
Now, you know what? Let me ask you a question, man.
Yeah.
You're an Angels fan, right?
Oh shit, here we go.
Yeah. I'm gonna put more fuel on the fire.
Actually, I don't know if I should tell you this because I know what the next words out of your mouth are gonna say. I know what the next thing you're gonna say, and I don't know what to say.
So in 2010, you guys signed old, washed up.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Albert Pujols.
For 10 years.
Yeah.
That man did not do a mother effing thing, right? Cool, because he won a ring in 2011 with the Cardinals.
Actually, he won that ring and then he took off for Anaheim. You know, I remember that shit.
Yeah. Then you guys signed this guy, Mike Trout.
Hey! Mike Trout is the greatest of all time, man. He's been the best thing that's happened to us.
What has he done?
Let's see, Triple Crown winner.
Come on, man.
You know what? What do we ask A-Rod?
There's blood in the water. And when you don't play well, I haven't played well. Some of the criticism I received, I've been in 9 years.
I don't even have to answer because A-Rod just answered for me.
Come on, man. So what do you think is, what's his name, Washington? You guys have a new manager now, and I like him.
I mean, look, the only way the Angels are going to get better, and I've said this many times on the show, Artie Moreno needs to sell the team, and they need to change their name back to Anaheim, because Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim is a worst name in the history of fucking baseball. I don't know where the hell you get Los Angeles Angels in the city of Anaheim. It's kind of like ripping off the copyright Los Angeles City of Angels and all that stuff, you know? Like, I still don't understand why he did that, even to this day. I mean, let's see, what am I thinking about right now?
Y'all hear it, then that's that. I mean, I might have missed one practice this year, but if somebody say he doesn't come to practice, it can be one practice out of all the practices this year. That's enough. I can't practice. I'm hurt.
You see, you're talking about practice.
Hey, Mike Trout does practice. That's why he's like one of the best in the game.
Well,
Saying about that.
He's talking about practice. I think maybe Albert Pujols missed that.
Yeah, I think he did. Hey, shout out to Allen Iverson, man. I always admire that guy.
The Hall of Famer.
Now, speaking about AI, let's talk about basketball.
Well, let's kind of wrap up this conversation with baseball real quick before we go on. The Angels need to get rid of Artie Moreno, and they need to sell the team. They need to put the Angels back to Anaheim. I think the one thing that they need to do is pitching. And same thing with the Yankees. They have to have a bullpen that can go out there and last more than at least 5 or 6 innings, because that was one of their Achilles last year, was that they had games that they should have won, lost.
Right, yeah.
And then,
Of course.
let's talk about Dodgers. I know you're not a Dodger fan, but
Oh, my goodness, man.
what do you think? Clayton Kershaw should stay or he should go? Kershaw.
I don't mind him coming to the Yankees.
I mean, hey, if George Steinbrenner still owns his team, he needs to pull out his damn checkbook.
Right.
I mean, if the Angels can get Albert Pujols in his age, I mean, you know what? And I realized Albert Pujols went somewhere else and he just started playing well out of the blue. I forgot what team it was.
Yeah, I forgot too.
Like, the minute he left the Angels, he just, like, got reborn. He went to the Dodgers, he had a reborn career, and then he went back to St. Louis for, I think, 2 years, and he got back up. But before we go to basketball, I kind of want to go back to football. So yesterday the Chargers played the Lions at SoFi. Jared Goff, his second time there since being traded. Alvaro, what do you think is wrong with the Chargers? I mean, look, hands down, they got a good offense. You know, you got a good quarterback in Justin Herbert. You got a spectacular receiver in Keenan Allen.
Oh, I love Keenan Allen, man.
I mean, he put up a show yesterday.
He sure did.
And then Austin Eckler, the running back. What's wrong with this team? Because this team's, putting up points, but they're not portraying to wins. This team's now 4-5. They were up there. They were on a win streak. We saw them last Sunday night against the Bears, and they dominated on defense. But I mean, what's missing? I mean, you got Khalil Mack, who's on the linebacker. He's playing well. But you think there's more of a defensive struggle for this football team? Because I mean, look, I think it has been said before. You can score all the points you want in the game. But if you're giving up too much points, I mean, I don't even have to tell the story. You know that stuff.
It might be defense, man.
Because, I mean, let's go, let's recap their season so far. And then, actually, before that, I want to hear what Brandon Staley said about the game, because he looked very disappointed after. Let's see if we have a clip of that.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
He's back.
There's a lot of explosive plays given up today. It seems like it happens quite a bit. How do you just keep that from happening again?
Yeah, I didn't do a good enough job on defense for us today. That was the story. Run and pass. Didn't do a good enough job on the run game in the first half, and then in the second half there were far too many. So I didn't do a good enough job for us today.
So how do you fix yourself?
Yeah, we got to go back to practice, and we got to get back to work and focus on fundamentals. The fundamentals of playing defense, start at the line of scrimmage, playing blocks, leveraging the football, tackling, and then staying connected.
All right, so, okay, what do you think? You think he said the right things, or he should have said more? I mean, it looks like
He said the right thing.
I mean, he's accepting responsibility, which he has to. I mean, but here's one thing. All right, here's the thing that gets me lost, dude. In his last year with the Rams, the COVID season, Jared Goff was the Rams quarterback. Like, how do you not prepare well for Jared Goff? He was your quarterback for a couple years. I mean, don't you think you should know his strengths, his weakness? I mean, Goff threw for over 300 yards. I mean, how is it that the guy that once had the best defense with the Rams in the COVID season, with Goff struggling, like, how is it that, Goff tortures you on defense? I mean, like, to me, it's impossible.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, you just had this guy on your team. You had the best defense that one season. You had star players like Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and Bobby Wagner and all that stuff. But yet, like, this guy just tortures you on offense.
Yeah.
And then let me ask you this. You think the Lions are real this season?
I think so, man. I think them dudes are playing real good, man.
I mean, let's look at what they've done. They got into Green Bay for the second time. They beat Green Bay. They
beat us.
Well, I mean, everybody beats the Raiders, bro. Come on.
Shut up.
But they go into Kansas City and they beat the defending champions. I know that was week 1, but
I loved it though.
I know you love every time you won the AFC West loses. I mean, I know you love this one yesterday.
Oh, shit.
So let's talk about the coach. You think it's time for him to go? You think he's lost confidence in this? Do you think the team has lost confidence in him?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, let's go back to last year. So last year they're playing the Broncos. That game is meaningless. Their spot's locked up. They're going to the playoff.
Right.
But yet, he makes a stupid decision of keeping his star players in. And Everett was one of his best receivers, was lost in that game. Then the next week, you go to Jacksonville for the playoff game. You blow a 20-point lead, and you lose on a field goal.
Yeah.
I was surprised when they said he was coming back. I was like, oh man, here we go. And then you go this year, again, they played Miami. They gave up big yardage.
Right.
It seems that this team is very inconsistent of their playing.
I see that.
And by the way, the Chargers will be at Green Bay this coming week. You can catch that game on CBS. They'll be on CBS. They'll be in the early game. But what do you think, man? You think Stanley needs to go, or Brandon Staley needs to go? You think the Chargers need a new coach, or I know you said the defense, but you think like that whole coaching staff needs to go?
Yeah, I think the whole staff and the coach needs to go, man, and bring new coaches. Bring somebody new.
I mean, you look offense. I think you should keep because your offense is putting up the numbers. It's very common that a team that just is putting up offensive yardage, offensive points,
right,
but at the same time you're losing these games. I mean, let's go back to week 1. They lose on a field goal. They gave up over 500 yards of offense. The week 2 game in Tennessee, they could have won that game, but they kept committing fouls and they lost in overtime. And then, they get the big win in Minnesota week 3, and then they come back and they beat the Raiders on the close game. I think that was a defensive game. Then they play the Cowboys on Monday night, which they should have won, but again, mistakes. It was inconsistency play. And then the next week they go to Kansas City. I mean, you're going to lose that one because it's Mahomes.
Yeah.
Then last Sunday or 2 weeks ago, they beat the Bears on Sunday night. And then the next week they go to the Jets, which I thought that was the game of the season right there. Defense committed turnovers. I know it's the Jets, but still, the turnovers, special teams, and offense. I thought that was a deserving win. And then they come back today and they kind of like lay an egg against the Lions. But I mean, but let's talk about the AFC West, bro. Like, okay, the winning team is the Chiefs. Raiders at 5-5.
Finally.
Yeah, I know, first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, maybe we should head toast to that because the Raiders are actually playing good right now. So let's talk about Antonio Pierce. This guy is from Compton. He played in the NFL. I believe he played with the Redskins.
Giants.
A couple years with the Giants, and I believe he was part of that Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to coach at his alma mater, Long Beach Poly.
Yep. And
Then
he went to Arizona State.
He went to Arizona State, and then now he's here. He was the linebackers coach, and now he's with the Raiders.
Right.
What does his experience bring to this football team?
Well, you've seen it in the locker rooms, man. His energy, his confidence, his attitude.
I mean, I don't think smoking cigars after a game would be appropriate, right?
Damn. Hey, man, they can do whatever they want. I mean, we got to win. They got to win, whatever. Shit, celebrate, man.
So we're going to break down the AFC playoff standings right now. So right now we know the Chiefs are 1, which they deserve it.
That's the Chiefs.
Baltimore is 7-3. Look, I was shocked when Cleveland won yesterday.
Oh, that was a good game.
I was like, no freaking way.
Yeah. Of course.
And I know Cleveland fans are happy because of remember that tournament year where they moved in 95, and I don't think a lot of Cleveland fans still forgotten about that. So I think anytime they beat the Ravens, it's like an all-night party in Cleveland.
Yes.
Then you got the Jaguars. They lead the AFC South 6-3. I mean, actually, it's different now because they got their butt kicked yesterday.
They did.
The Niners beat them all badly. And then you got the Dolphins who lead the East by a game, and they were off, but they lost. How about this team, though? The Steelers. You know what's the funny thing about this one, dude, is that they're 6-3. Yet they're the only team with the winning record this season to get outgained by everybody. Like, very, very, very shocking.
It is.
And then the last team that holds the last 2 wildcard teams, the Browns, which they hold, and then the Texans.
Oh, God.
And then let's look at all these teams that are in the hunt right now, bro. Bengals, they lost. They're out of the playoff spot. They're 5-4. The Bills, they play tonight. You wonder if they're gonna. The win is the Broncos, and then you got
for the Bills.
And you got we'll talk about that in the next segment. You got the Colts. Shockingly, they're 5-5.
Yeah, shockingly, yeah.
And then you got the Raiders in there at 5-5. The Chargers and the Jets at 4-5. And believe it or not, even the Broncos are alive, but they have to win tonight. Nah, man, I don't root for a team that got their ass kicked by 70, bro. Unless it was the Raiders and maybe something different. So let's talk about those teams that are in the hunt. Which team you think will take that last spot?
On what division?
Anywhere, like these teams that are outside looking in, like the Bengals, the Bills, the Colts, the Raiders, the Jets. Which one of those teams do you think is gonna take that last spot?
Ooh, that's tough, brother. Maybe the Bengals.
You might be right on the Bengals. And look,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna change bandwagons here, but I'm gonna have to say the Raiders. And as much as I hate to say it, they do have a chance. I mean, if you got a quarterback in Cano who's playing like he's a pro, I mean, look, he's put up better numbers than Jimmy Garoppolo has since he's been a Raider. It just shows that Jimmy Garoppolo is only good with the 49ers. He had a successful run with them, but he does not do well with other teams. So, I mean, I think they made the best move. I mean, I was shocked at first because they put a lot of money into this investment, and it looks like it's failed so far, but they go and they bring in the rookie, and he's doing well, and then...
It sure is.
So I think, and then you got Devontae Adams on the pro side. You have Jacobs. You got Josh Jacobs. If he can put up numbers, look, if you can run this football, if you can run the football that leads to the passing game, they're going to be a dangerous team in that AFC. They've already have some good wins, but again, their tough test will be the Chiefs. They still have to play them. And then, I mean, but the other thing too, Alvaro, is they have to make sure the other teams lose. You look at, Buffalo, they lay an egg in Buffalo, so they cannot tie. The Chargers, they lost, and then the Broncos, they still...
That way they won't move up.
And then another thing too, the Raid they lost to the Steelers, so it's a tough way to get in. I think they can get in, but as long as they're winning the games they're supposed to, and the other teams are struggling, because I mean, look, I'm shocked that Buffalo, with all the talent they have, they're outside looking in. It just shows that the AFC North is a tough division.
It is.
A couple of years ago, the AFC East was like that. Then it was the AFC West.
Yeah.
The AFC South for a year, but it's hard to imagine. So before we go to break, we're gonna talk about the NFC real quick. Right now, the Eagles have the top spot. No surprise. Lions have the second one. Shocking. The Niners are tied in first place, but they've already beaten Seattle, so they own the tiebreaker. The Saints currently hold the fourth seed. The Seahawks are fifth. Cowboys, with the way they've been dominating, they're sixth. And the shocking part of this, the Vikings have a 2-game lead in the wild card.
And that quarterback dude is pretty good too.
The funny thing is, when Kirk Cousins went down, I thought this season was going to be over.
Yeah. Me too.
And then they brought in their star quarterback at the trade deadline, and since he's been in there, yeah, Joshua Dobbs was brought in on the last day of the trade deadline, and he's 2-0 as a starter. He's wrapped his Vikings offense.
Oh yeah.
So this could be the one team that could take on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, it could be dangerous, man.
I mean, and I love the Rams. Right now we're sitting at 3-6. We're still in the hunt, but
the Rams are a joke, man.
Yeah, that's why they won the Super Bowl.
I don't care. That's what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah, when's the last time you guys won a Super Bowl? 1980 something?
1983.
Yeah, it was like, almost 30 years ago?
30 years ago, that's fine.
Alright, welcome back to a very special edition of Sports Talk. We have Alvaro Davila from Houston, Texas, our guest host today. And before the break, we were talking about the whole Aaron Rodgers Achilles injury. And you did bring up a good point, bro. Like, how the hell you get injured 2 months ago and then all of a sudden you're walking? Look, the only reason it's important is to remember I've seen this injury before. I've seen it many times. I remember back in 99. In 99, I was a Jet fan. And my favorite quarterback at the time was Vinny Testaverde. And I was watching that game where he ruptured his Achilles on that hard artificial turf field. The old school turf field, And he ruptures his Achilles after trying to recover a football. And he was holding... I remember the image that he was holding that left Achilles, and he was in a lot of pain. And I remember that he had to be helped. He had to be helped off because he couldn't walk. He couldn't put weight on it. He had to get carried to the cart. And then, by the time, he was evaluated at halftime.
Right.
And what happened next really damned the season, because when they came back for the second half, he was injured for the season. It was reported that he was going to miss the season, and they were coming off an AFC Championship game, and I think we have the clip here.
Martin again, lost the football, and covered it again. And holding his leg on the ground is Vinny Testaverde.
That was from the NFL on CBS. That was like the 99 opener. And I apologize if you couldn't hear it. It was the best audio we could get. So basically on that play, they fumbled. He was trying to reach for it, but he stepped wrong and he just ruptured it. And looking at that tape, how badly he was holding it, it was very bad. Now we go to Rodgers' injury. He's not carried out in a cart. He gets up on his own power and he walks to the sideline. You know, at first, some of us were like, I don't know if this was you too, but we all figured it was going to be a sprain, a bruise, maybe just landed wrong and needed time to kind of like stretch it out.
Right.
But I remember that night I was going to bed, and there was a report came out late night saying he may have ruptured it. He may have an ACL injury. I was like, he didn't really got hurt badly. I mean, look, Testaverde's injury was very bad. He stepped wrong. Kobe Bryant, you know, did a wrong move and, you know, he ruptured his Achilles. And then you look at Kirk Cousins, you know, he has an Achilles injury.
Oh, yeah.
So how is it that Aaron Rodgers is going to come back in just a few months? No, okay, for those of you that don't understand an Achilles injury takes a long time to heal. The bones have to get connected again. The Achilles bones is a very thick bone. It's like a chicken breast, like eating off a chicken leg. You crack that bone, yes, you have surgery, but one of the main things is movement, running, walking, planting. Testaverde took a year to come back. He had to rehab, he had to train. Rodgers has been gone for a couple months and all of a sudden he's swarming up and he's throwing balls. I mean, look, the only thing I can say, bro, is medical technology has changed in the course of 20 years. I mean, that Achilles injury from Testaverde was 99. Kobe Bryant's Achilles injury was about 10 years ago.
Yep.
So, I mean, it just shows how much medical science has changed, you know, with this type of injury. Now, you know, guys come back faster. I mean, look at, remember Triple H, how he tore his quad?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he was back within 8 months. He trained for 8 months and came back. And his injury was more severe, bro, because here's one thing. He wrestled for 8 minutes after that injury. That's why when people talk about wrestling, I was like, you know what, wrestling is fake, but you know what, the injuries are real. Because yeah, you can do every move you make anytime, but the minute that you step on something wrong, that's it.
That's it, dude, you're done.
I remember when we went to Raw and, you know, I remember we saw the ambulance in the backstage.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
We're like, hey, look, who's the ambulance right there? These souls going to the hospital. Yeah, I guess what? Linda McMahon got tombstone to end the program. I thought that shit was funny, bro. That shit was funny.
That shit was funny, man.
Now I remember the lady that got on gave me a hard case because I was kind of like saying some comments about Trish Stratus of how sexy and how hot she was. I'm like, what do you want me to say? Stone Cold Steve Austin's more good looking or what? Remember that outfit she came out in though?
Oh yeah.
You know, Trish was you know, everybody. You know what I just realized? I remember that story you told me about your sisters about them being Britney Spears fans.
Oh,
and
God,
you told me Britney Spears was your first crush.
She was.
Hell no, man. Kimberly was my first crush, bro.
Well, yeah. We're gonna talk about that. Let's go back to the first crush. It's gonna be Kimberly, man.
You like Kimberly? Actually, Kimberly was my first one.
That was my first one.
My second one was there was a spin-off of Power Rangers. It was called VR Troopers. There was this lady named Sarah Brown. She played the character Caitlin Douche. She was smoking hot. She was attractive.
Right.
So that was my second crush, and then later on, Trish and Lita were my other crushes, and Stephanie McMahon.
Oh yeah, Stephanie.
She made appearances in the ring, but she didn't really make any other appearances until after she did the whole storyline that I was gonna marry Triple H and stuff.
Yeah.
It was so funny, but yeah, I remember I was like, oh man, Stephanie's hot. But yeah, for me it was Trish, dude.
Trish Stratus, yeah.
I just realized you had that Britney Spears picture in the back door of your room.
Oh yeah, the poster.
I'm not gonna play detective. I'm kind of thinking what it was for, but I'm not gonna say it here. But I can't believe it though. It was funny. But going back to that, yeah, medical technology, medicals have just changed over the course of 30 years to now, where these injuries that take long to heal are coming back. But then again, it's still the same thing. You know, Tommy John surgery is still the same. A PCL, an ACL. I mean, it just depends on the person's body. I mean, look at Tom Brady. He tore his ACL. He missed the 08 season. And He came back. I mean,
I'll tell you go back, but you don't go back 100%.
no, you're never the same. I mean, Testaverde had a great season in '98. When he had the Achilles injury, he came back in 2000, and he was just never the same.
Nope.
And then Kobe Bryant, when he had his, I mean, miraculously, he hit the free throw, which was very inspiring because I was like, man, this guy just ruptured his Achilles and he's going to hit 2 free throws.
Yeah.
But, man,
He's a warrior, man. Rest in peace to Kobe, man.
Yeah, he is. And, oh, by the way, I do want to mention this. Sometime in February, I want to say February 6th or February 24th is one of those days, the Lakers are going to unveil a statue of the Black Mamba outside Crypto.com Arena, which I hate that name. I wish it was still Staples Center, but I mean, oh yeah, I did want to ask you that. Did you ever, what was your reactions when you found out that Staples Center was going to Crypto.com?
I just liked it, man. I said, what the hell is this shit, man? Staples Center was the, like New Yorkers say, the Mecca.
The Yankees, the Mecca.
The Mecca of, downtown LA, Staples Center, man. That was the Mecca.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden was the Mecca of New York as well.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. So when they changed that name to Crypto, I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
I mean, I was like, I went in 2021, I went to see the Kings hockey team with my ex-roommate.
Shout out to the Kings, man.
Screw the Kings. It's all about the Ducks, homie.
The Ducks? Oh, my God.
Well, you got a problem with the Orange County Ducks, bro?
Yeah, they suck. I was going to drop the F-bomb, but they suck. It's all about the Kings.
You want to drop the F-bomb, go ahead, man. We're not FCC regulated here, or maybe we are, but don't quote me on that. Actually, you know what? I take that back. If you're the FCC, please don't find me. I can't afford it.
Why you go for the Ducks, dude?
Hey, at least we got a hockey team. What team you got in Texas? Nobody.
I don't care about it. Mind you, man, I'm from Long Beach, California, dude. But there's no hockey team over here, so I don't know.
But now that we're talking about Crypto.com, let's go ahead and move to our favorite team, the Lakers.
Yes.
So the Lakers are on a 2-game win streak. They did beat the Portland Trail Blazers last night, 116-110. Before that, on Friday, they made their debut in the so-called play-in tournament, in-season play-in tournament. They got by the Suns, 122-119. So they have another game tomorrow at Staples or Crypto against the Memphis Grizzlies, and it's game 2 of that in-season tournament. They'll play 4 games, and I believe the top 2 or the top 3 of the brackets will move on to the next round of the in-play tournament.
Right.
So their remaining tournament games is tomorrow against Memphis.
No, tomorrow they play the Kings. Right?
No, actually no. Tomorrow here I'll give the breakdown. I think
they do play the Memphis. That's right. You're right.
What, you drinking on a job?
Nah, man.
So
look at the ESPN app.
Maybe you want to quit looking at what's her name? Maybe you should quit looking at Travis Kelce's girlfriend. I don't think he would appreciate that.
Oh God, don't even mention that name, man.
Travis Kelce Swift.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, they do play the Memphis tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow's the end-game tournament, and then Wednesday they play Sacramento back-to-back.
The Queens.
Yeah, the Queens. But they'll be at home though, so it's no biggie. Friday they go to Portland for the 3rd game of the tournament. Then they come back.
That's right.
They come back Sunday for a 3-game. They have a 3-game, and then on the 21st before Thanksgiving, the final play. Yeah, the Jazz is the final game of the play-in tournament, so they could move on or they cannot. It's going to determine these next 3 games, but
I expect these dudes to win all 3 of them, man. No questions asked.
Yeah, but what do you do? So they wanted to limit LeBron James play time because they want to use him more in the 4th quarter. I felt that they've been using LeBron a lot, and the game against Houston last week, they got their asses blown out.
That was terrible, man.
Have you been to a Houston game since you've been living there?
Yeah, one time back in 2015.
That against the Lakers?
Yes.
How much was the tickets back then?
Huh?
How much were the tickets back then?
Oh, it was cheap. It was what, I think I paid like $120.
Yeah, you should see the tickets here for the Lakers. I think it's about almost $200 for a fucking game. Same thing with the Rams. I'm trying to go to SoFi. It's like $200 a fucking game. Depends who they're playing.
Well, the Rams are a joke, so.
Yeah, it says the team that won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. It says against the Raiders, who haven't been.
Here we go with the same conversation, man. We won.
Hey, you brought it up, man, not me. You're the one saying that the Rams suck.
They do suck, man.
We do suck, but who's got the ring, homie?
How many rings we got?
We got 3 rings. How about you guys?
We got 3 rings.
Yeah, but that's when you guys were in Oakland.
You guys are 3-6.
Yeah, so?
Under 500. That's an embarrassment.
No, we're not. We're not the Jets. We're not the Raiders. We don't commit penalties that you guys do.
Can we talk about Well, he's playing now, but I was gonna throw in some dirt for Anthony Davis, Street Clothes Davis.
Oh, you mean the future Shaquille, the next Shaquille O'Neal?
Please don't say that, man.
Hey, he's been playing some. He's been putting up numbers that was related to the big man. And you know, if you notice that his injuries are kind of similar to Shaq.
But come on, man, we're talking about a different era.
Hey,
You know
but that's what happens. That's one of the disadvantages when you're like that tall, because your legs are the first to get affected. I mean, you look at Shaq, and then you look at Yao, and then you look at Andrew Bynum, who was here for a couple years. He started, and this is what I think too. If you go back to that 08 finals, if he didn't get hurt, they would have won.
We would have won, yeah. We would have won 6 rings, dude.
Would have won. Actually, you know what? Kobe would have had 7 rings, because if you count the 04 series with Detroit where they lost,
that's right.
He would have had 7. He would have beat Jordan.
He would have beat Jordan, yeah. That was an embarrassing loss, by the way, in 2004.
Well, I mean, look, that was the year they had the big 4.
Well, Malone got hurt.
Well, it was mostly the big 3, because Malone missed prior of the season. He didn't come back till near the end of the season. That's when they had that run. But yeah. I think that year everyone's gonna remember the Derek Fisher 0.6 seconds one. That was just like
04. Oh wait, hold on.
0.4.
04, yeah.
I always remember that shot, because the minute he hits it,
he starts running to the locker room.
Everybody there. I always remember Al Michaels' commentary in that game, because he actually called it, and just the fact that he just like.
Yeah.
I think we have a clip of that. I'm trying to get that from our audio guy. I think he has it, but it was just like Scorcher. It was like Killer. It was something that I think we do have it from what I'm being told. Trying to get that worked on right now, but it was a scorching play. Oh yeah, we do have it. We're gonna play it right now.
Play it.
They get it to Fisher. He scores! Derek Fisher scores at the buzzer. It'll have to be reviewed. They'll review it. The Lakers are going to run to the dressing room, and they'll try to get on the plane before the officials can get over to the
score. Back to memory lane, dude. Memory lane, 2003.
You know what the
2004, right?
Yeah, that was 04. But you know what was the fun part of that one, of that series? Robert Horry was a Spur.
Oh yeah, he was.
After the 03 season, he left for San Antonio. He won, I believe. No, I believe he won maybe one more ring with them, because he may won 1 or 2 after with the Spurs.
Yeah, 05 and 07.
We're actually trying to get that clarified right now, but
come on, brother, I know basketball, man.
You're Texas. You know about damn basketball right there, homie.
Come on, man. Look at Robert Horry's ring.
So he's a 7. So we got the confirmation. He's a 7-time champion. He won 2.
He won with the Rockets.
He won 2 rings with the Rockets.
Wow,
he won 3. He won, and yes, you're right. He won 3 rings with the Lakers, and he won 2 rings with the Spurs.
Yeah.
So he won in 94, 95 with the Rockets. Then he won 3 rings with the Lakers in 2000, 2001, 2002. So that's 5. And then the final 2 were when he went to the Spurs. 05.
And 07.
In 07 against Shaq.
No, 07 was with
Yeah, but remember Shaq was on the Cavaliers squad. I believe he was.
No, Shaq was still with the Heat.
Yeah, he won 1 in 06.
06, yeah.
And in 07, Horry won his second one. So, you know, the funny thing, too, is when I look at Robert Horry, this guy got 7.
Shot, Rob.
Yeah, but he's got 7 championships, and he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Teams.
He's not in the Hall of Fame, though.
He's not?
He's not in the Hall of Fame. We have that verified. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
That's fucked. Well, that's messed up.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's fucked up. Yeah, it's true. But you know what? It just goes to show you that having championships doesn't guarantee you in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you look at Teddy Bruschi with the New England Patriots. He won 3 Super Bowls, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. You look and then you look at other players like Mark Brunell. He had a good career in Jacksonville. He won a Super Bowl. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Keyshawn Johnson won a Super Bowl. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Torrey Holt of the Rams won a Super Bowl despite his yardage and his catches, his stats. He's the only member of that greatest show on turf that's not in the Hall of Fame. So it just shows you, I mean, look, I could be wrong because there are players aren't in the Hall of Fame. You know, Dan Marino didn't win a Super Bowl. He's in the Hall of Fame. Warren Moon, he won titles in the Canadian Football League, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. You know, Doug Flutie's not in the Hall of Fame, but he's in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Terrell Owens didn't win a Super Bowl. He's in the Hall of Fame. Fame.
That's right.
Chris Carter, he won Super Bowls. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Randy Moss, he won Super Bowls, and he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of contradicts on what I say. I mean, but again, having championships doesn't guarantee it. Having Super Bowls may guarantee it.
I mean, look at Derek Fisher. He's not even in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's a 5-time champion. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
That's nuts, man.
Brian Shaw's a 3-time champion. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Karl Malone. Well, Karl Malone never had no rings.
But he's a Hall of Famer, and he had Hall of Fame numbers. Jerry Stockton, he didn't win championships. He's in there. And then you look at Gary Payne. I think he has one. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Or he is in the Hall of Fame, actually.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Gary Payne's in the Hall of Fame. But what about... Okay, so let's talk about Durant. Kevin Durant has played for, what, 4 teams? You think he's a Hall of Fame bound?
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that say that...
I mean, look at his numbers, man.
I mean, yeah, look at his numbers, but you wonder because most of his championships was with Golden State. He was behind Steph Curry. People say that Steph Curry carried that team. I think he did. And, I mean, look, Durant may not have been that great, but he was a supporting cast of that team.
Right.
So for people to say no, he's not gonna go in, I mean, you're fucking crazy.
Exactly.
And then look at you look at the racing world. Jeff Gordon won 4 titles. He didn't win a championship after the 4th one. He's in the Hall of Fame. There's Jimmy Johnson. He won 7 NASCAR Cup titles. He's in the Hall of Fame. The late Dale Earnhardt won 7 titles. He's in the Hall of Fame. His son Dale Jr. Didn't win it at the grand level. He's in the Hall of Fame. So I mean, it goes to show you that championships are not the credentials based on how you play. I mean, look at Shannon Sharp. He's got 3 rings. He's in there. Peyton Manning had 2. He's in there. He could have had 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, he won 1 with Indy. He won 1 with Denver. Peyton Manning went to 2 Super Bowls as a Colt, and then he went to 2 Super Bowls as a Bronco. So to me, he could have had 4. But what about let's talk about his brother though. What do you think? You think Eli should be in there? His brother Eli Manning.
Yeah, he should.
I mean, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings, but his stat numbers are not very compatible to Peyton Manning. But he did set records as a Giant. I mean, look, anybody that's beaten Tom Brady twice in a Super Bowl and took 2 rings from him should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's just how it is.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at Nick Foles. He took 1 from Brady. So, I mean, if you look at it, Brady would have had 11 Super Bowls or 10 Super Bowls if he would have won. You imagine having 11 Super Bowls and it's every day you go out, what?
No, man, let's not do that with, the rest in peace of Bill Russell, man, 11 rings.
Would you put Tom Brady up there with Bill Russell had he won those 3 Super Bowls and that mountain?
I would have.
What about LeBron James?
Oh, man, LB James.
I think he had 3 that he could have won. So let's see. He's got 4. He won, I believe he won 2 in Miami. He won 1 in Cleveland. And he won 1 with the Lakers. And he's been being in the finals, I think, twice, 3 times?
Yeah, but I think it's time for Darwin Ham to go, man.
Of the Lakers?
Yeah. His rotations are pretty stupid, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you on that. But what do you think about how long would you keep LeBron though? I mean, I believe he's in his last year, or he has 2 years left.
2 more years to go, and I guarantee you he will play 2 more years, man.
You know they don't allow walkers in basketball, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he can play with walkers in his basketball because he gets hurt in the legs all the time.
I'll give him till the end of his contract, man.
Hey, did you see how Draymond Green got suspended that one game in the playoffs because he stomped on somebody?
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that he's had a history of playing dirty?
Yeah, he's a dirty player.
I mean, I remember I was watching Jimmy Kimmel Live and he was like, oh yeah, he hit King James in the crowns and all that stuff. Yeah. And then he made that parody of him kicking people in the nuts. Mm-hmm. What if I kick you in the nuts?
It'll be a cold day in hell for you, buddy.
I'll kick your ass.
Yeah. Bring it on. I'll fucking choke slam you, man.
Man, I'll give you the stunner. I'll give you a can of whoop ass and give you the people's elbow.
I'll give you the mandible claw.
Yeah, try it. You gotta do that in my sleep.
That's the easy way, man.
All right, we're actually wrapping up here, but I do want to do one more thing with Alvaro here. So Alvaro, let me ask you some things. And this is on our all of our years of knowing each other. So what was the favorite video game you used to play with me?
Wow. I'm gonna have to say Ninja Turtles. Time.
Turtles in Time?
Yeah, Turtles in Time.
Yeah, I have that actually for my Nintendo Switch. I play that sometimes too. It's fun.
I'm gonna have to say that me and you were badass in that game.
Yeah, you were throwing foot soldiers away from the screen. And then you're the one that kept getting stomped or stepping on those things, and you're like, my toes. And I remember the dinosaur. Remember the dinosaur stage?
Oh yeah, that one was pretty. It was getting hectic, man.
No, what about when we faced Shredder and he turned into a little turtle?
Oh yeah.
Do we have the effect of that from that tool? Let's see. I'm asking somebody. Oh, I remember that song.
Hey,
You know when that
soundtrack from that video game is badass, man.
I like the turtle one, when you select your turtles, because when you hear that song, you do know that it's turtle time. You know it's time to kick some shell.
Yeah, it's time to kick some butt. Yeah.
What about what was your favorite stage of that game?
My favorite what?
Your favorite level?
My favorite level has to be the one in downtown, the city.
Oh, Big Apple?
Big Apple.
Or Alley Cat Blues?
Yeah, that one too. Alley Cat Blues. There you go.
Alright, how about this one? Favorite moment in high school?
Favorite what?
Favorite moment of high school?
My favorite moment in high school was hanging around with the buddies, man.
My favorite one.
Lunchtime and nutrition.
Nah, my favorite one was a Spanish class where we were just talking smack and then we got to watch The Simpsons in Spanish. That was my favorite one.
So the people that don't know, in high school, I don't know about now how it is, the school system, but in high school, there was lunchtime, actually it was nutrition. It was like around what, 10:15?
It was like around 9:30. It was around 9:30.
Yeah, okay, 9:30 and then lunchtime, so I don't know how it is now with the school system, but
I think it's different. I think it's different, I'm not sure, but I mean, I like I remember the food in school. Chicken patties, burgers. The breakfast was awesome.
The breakfast was good. They had two grilled cheese sandwich.
One of my favorite moments of high school was the extended lunch Mondays where we had lunch for an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And the afternoon classes would just get so short.
Yep, not only that. Homecoming month.
I remember being on the football team for 2 years, and I remember I got to go to the homecoming game. I think your senior year, you lost homecoming.
Yeah,
that was a brutal. We lost to Cabrillo, and
now let me give you another memory lane. You remember, because I know you were in the football team in 2001. I think it was a riot. I mean, it wasn't a riot, but somebody was fighting, and there was helicopters.
Oh, that was the 02. No, it was the 03 homecoming game. That was your junior year. That was my sophomore year.
So that was that year then, huh?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember like something happened outside, and there was a lot of stuff. We went to see the game film the next morning, and we saw the sirens. But yeah, they say a fight broke out. I think
fight broke out. Yeah.
Did someone had a knife or something?
Yeah, somebody had a knife. Exactly.
Pretty much had a knife, pull it up in here and goes, "Fuck this."
Yeah, it was good. It was good times in NACO, man.
Yeah, I remember. My favorite also was film analysis. That was a good class.
Yeah,
that was tight. And then all right, here. Okay, final question. What was your favorite part of being a teenager?
No responsibilities, man. No bills, nothing. Just being a teenager, enjoying life, and just not thinking of, damn, I gotta pay this bill, I gotta pay that bill, that type of shit.
Always gonna remember what is it? Oh yeah, I want to remember the summers we had. We got to do some things like we went one time to Best Buy the Wu-Tang CD, Ghostface Killer and all that stuff. We took the bus back home. We went to your house and then we were playing NFL Blitz. You were laughing every time I was doing the late hits, and then We went to the movies a couple times.
We watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I remember the Angels game we went to.
Did we go to the Angels game?
Yeah, we went to an Angels game, and then I remember we went to Raw 03. We saw Steve Austin.
Yeah, we went to Raw 03. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and then we saw Stone Cold give Eric Bischoff the finger, and then you got mad because Ric Flair said Lakers suck, and someone went up and go like, "Your mama sucks." Yeah, but those were some fun times though, man. That was awesome.
Fun times, man. Good memories. It sticks to you, man, throughout the years.
You want to have any final words though now, since we're running out of time? You want to have the last say?
I appreciate you having me in your little podcast, man, and hopefully next week or whatever we'll talk about a different topic, man.
Yeah, I'll bring you on in the next episode, and we're gonna have some stuff to talk about. We'll talk about the playoff hunt for football, and again we'll talk about the Raiders and talk about the Rams and Chargers. We'll also break down the Lakers as well, and then we'll just have.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but you could have a topic of what did we do after high school.
Yeah, we can talk about that in our next segment or next episode.
Yeah.
But I do want to thank everyone for listening. I want to thank Alvaro for joining us from Texas. I know it's getting late over there. We're a couple hours ahead, and I know it's getting dark here. I know you're watching the Broncos game too in a bit, so let's see how that goes. We'll talk about that game too the next episode. But I do want to say, great having you on, and I'll bring you back on in our next episode.
All right, brother. Thank you for having me.
All right, Matt. Take care.
All right.
And I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next time here on Sports.